Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with daily technical update. It is Wednesday the 22nd of January and I just have to say that this is a webinar or video for educational purposes only. There's no advice or recommendation intended whatsoever in this. Today we'll start with Apple. Apple has been sold off quite a bit here the past month or so, and it comes on the back of a top and reversal pattern here, doji evening one. That sent it lower. If you've been following me, I've been talking about this for quite some time, and now it's testing support area around 220 to 1970 and 221. I think there's still potential lower, but we could see a little bit of a bounce maybe, trying to close this gap that it created yesterday, but we could see it dipping below the 200 moving average and down to around 214. Negative sentiment on the RSI, no divergence, indicating likely lower levels. Another one that is not dipping lower is ARM Holdings, that has broken above its cloud area a few days ago. RSI back above 60 threshold, indicating positive sentiment. Currently testing a minor resistance at 156.40, but it's now in a bullish trend. And if it does close above this level there, well, then there's further upside potential for ARM Holdings. S&P 500 closed yesterday more or less smack bang on the minor resistance here at 6,050. We are in a bullish trend, however. We are above the cloud, we are above all moving averages. We have taken out this little peak there, and close above 6,050 will further confirm that. And if we can also get the RSI to close back above 60 threshold, it is adding to that confirmation of a bullish trend. Nasdaq 100 closed yesterday above its upper falling trend line. RSI already in a positive sentiment. If it does close above 60 threshold, it will further confirm a bullish trend. And if it takes out and closes above this peak there at 21,704, well, then it has further confirmed the bullish trend. But it is above all, the index is above all moving averages, and they are all rising, indicating or suggesting underlying bullish trend. Dow Jones, bullish trend also here. RSI back above 60 threshold, closed just a few cents above the cloud, has established the bullish trend, and there's potential higher towards previous all-time high here, just above 45,000. It is in the cards. EuroStoxx 50, and sorry, that was not EuroStoxx 50, I pressed the wrong button here. EuroStoxx 50, a new all-time high close. I think we will see a top and reversal, at least a correction. It won't be a reversal. I think we'll just see a correction, maybe down to 5,100, a little bit lower maybe. But the trend is bullish, and we can see after breaking this falling trend line here and this triangle-like pattern, well, there is potential much higher for the EuroStoxx 50. There is divergence on the RSI though, but trust the trend. We are still building up pre-markets unchanged. So let's see what happens today. DAX 100 closed also new all-time high yesterday, our highest close ever, and is above 21,000. Could push a little bit higher, but we are a little bit stressed, so I think we'll see a correction kicking in here one of those days. But the bullish trend also on the weekly, we see RSI closed above its upper falling trend line. There is divergence, but for now, closing above the upper falling trend line is a bullish signal. Euro dollar, well, still trying to get up to the 104.60 correction, the 61.8 retracement and resistance. I think it could test it, but as you can see here, RSI is struggling to get back above 60 threshold. And if it does close above 104.60, well, then there could be potential further up to 105.30 level, maybe even up to around 106, where we have another strong resistance. But if it starts sliding back below 103 and also back below the trend line here, downtrend is set to resume. The sterling dollar cable still testing the upper falling trend line, can't really get back above the 38.2 retracement, 123.70, and that'll be key for a push up to the 61.8 retracement at 125.40 level. If it's being rejected, once again sliding back and taking out 121, well, then there's potentially down to 118. Euro sterling still trying to push higher here. I did expect a correction down to around 84. It can still happen, but if it takes out 84.75, the peak up here, then I think we'll see a push up to around 85.50. Dollar yen, well, dollar yen has bounced from the 38.2 retracement and the 55 moving average just around 154.97.95. It could start bouncing back here, and if it does move back above 157.50, I think that will also be the case, and a top trend will resume, especially if you can get the RSI back above 60 threshold. Well, then uptrend has been confirmed to resume. On the euro yen that bounced from the key support here at 159.80 and the lower part of the cloud, back above now, back above moving averages. Positive sentiment still. The RSI bounced off of 40 threshold there, so I think we could see return to a bullish trend if it takes out these. Let me just add that horizontal line. There we are. If it takes out 162.90, and then I think we'll see it having a go again at the 165 resistance. The Aussie yen, well, had bounced a little bit, but we're still in a bearish trend. Moving averages declining. 55 broke below the 100, and they both declining. That is a bad signal or negative signal, and I think it will start sliding back lower. There's still potential to test the 55 and 100 moving average, maybe also the rising trend line there from the other side. Then I think we'll see it slide back. The sterling, oops, sorry, that was the wrong one. Sterling yen bounced off the 189.55. We talked about that yesterday, and could bounce further. At least it should reach the 192.74, which we were very close to, but we could also see it bounce a little bit higher up to test the 100 moving average and the cloud. But then we have the 21 and the 55 moving average coming down there, and we have negative sentiment on the RSI and no divergence, indicating likely lower levels after a minor correction. Aussie dollar, well, also bouncing, similar to some of the other currencies or FX pairs, very close to 63. Could test it. There is potential up to around 63.35, 63.40, but we can see RSI is still negative. There was divergence, minor though, but there was divergence. But if it slides back below the falling trend line there, then I think we will see it take out the lows here at 61.30, and then we'll continue its downtrend. So we are just in for, I believe, a minor correction that could take it up to around 63.40 area. Dollar Canada, very volatile, as we can see once again yesterday on back of all these tariffs talks going on in US. Testing the previous lows here, spike downs here. So I would be very cautious with trading dollar Canada at the moment. You can be out of money very, very quickly. So be careful, since there's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety going on in the Canada dollar pairs. However, we are trading sideways here at the moment in the bigger picture. Another Canadian cross here, Sterling Canada, that spiked to the 61.8 retracement, 178, only to retrace, and now trading around the 200 moving average. Could slide back lower. We are negative sentiment on the RSI, and if it does close back below 40 threshold, I think we'll resume downtrend. However, expect a lot of volatility in this region around where we are trading now, so I would be very cautious at the moment to trade Sterling Canada. Euro Swiss, well, still testing the 94.50 resistance, spiked above a couple of times. There's still potential up to around 95, where we also have the 200 moving average coming down beyond positive sentiment, no divergence, indicating likely higher levels. Dollar Swiss, still in correction phase, could still test the 90 22 support area here. If it takes that out and dips below more than a few cents, I think we could see a correction down to the area of 55 moving average, maybe even down to 89.15, but I'm not quite so sure. I think this will hold for now, but keep an eye on it. And the dollar index currently trading around the 50% retracement, which is fairly unusual that it will hold, but there is support here around 107.66 level, so we could bounce from that. If it moves back above 108.25, then I think uptrend will resume. There is, if it takes out 107.66, I think we could see it down to the 61.8 retracement here at 107.16. Gold has confirmed bullish trends by breaking above and closing above the 27.26.5 resistance here. That's buying up. There's now potential higher, and we can see this formed this triangle-like pattern here, symmetrical triangle-like. That's actually quite a good one, almost for the textbooks. And there is now potential to get back up to test the previous all-time high at 27.90, and I think actually will push higher above 2800 in the coming weeks. Positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence. Also on the weekly chart, it is supporting the bullish trend with the positive sentiment, no divergence on the RSI, likely new higher highs in a few weeks. The silver is struggling for upside momentum, but is slowly trying to crawl higher, but RSI still negative sentiment. If it can close back above 60 threshold, it will confirm that the bullish trend has also kicked in there. But it is, I mean, yeah, we are in a rising channel, but it is lagging a little bit. Copper still in a correction phase. Currently trading around the 429, which is the 38.2 retracement. Tested the 100 moving average. There's still a risk down to around 418. I'm not quite sure we'll get there because the RSI is still positive sentiment and no divergence, indicating likely higher levels. And I just want to mention once again that on the weekly, still positive sentiment on the RSI, broken above its upper falling trend line, no divergence on the RSI. If it takes out 449.30 or at least 450, then bullish trend has been resumed with the potential much higher for copper. Crude oil is in a correction phase after it failed to close here. WTI closed above 78.46 resistance. It spiked higher, but it didn't close the week above. Still negative sentiment on the RSI. So we are now in a correction phase, sliding back, and could slide back further. If it drops back below the 200 moving average here, well, then we could see it sliding back all the way down to around the 73 area, which is the 6.18 retracement area, and some support. But watch out for corrections. On the Brent crude oil, is currently also in a correction phase at the 200 moving average and 38.2 retracement, and also failed to close above here on the weekly at 81.59. So correction we are in. The Dutch TTF gas, well, that is currently at the back in a bullish trend with potential higher to around 56, 57 maybe. Bullish trend here on weekly, it's about a little bit divergence, supported by the also bullish trend on the RSI here on the daily. And Henry Hub nat gas, well, it is pushing higher. It is not pushing higher after closing above $4. It is basically just sliding back, and it could find itself trading still be $3 and $4 and $4.25 here for the next few days. On yields and the US 10-year yields, well, it has still in correction phase. It's dipped almost down to the 451, 450 key support here. Still positive sentiment, no divergence, indicating a likely higher level. So if we start turning around and bouncing from this, which is even closed right on the 786 retracement and 457 yesterday, if it starts pushing back above 465, 470, well, an uptrend has resumed. The two-year still trading or moving above the upper rising or the rising trend line here. If it moves back above the 200 moving average and back above 430, then also uptrend will resume, and you have the positive sentiment with no divergence right there. On the European 10-year, EU 10-year, well, it's caught around here just below 250, 245 area at the moment. Still potential down to the 61.8 retracement at 243 before I think it will bounce with a positive sentiment, no divergence on the other side, likely higher levels. And the UK, well, it is bouncing from the or trading around the 786 retracement at 460, a strong support here around 452, 450. Finally, on Bitcoin, well, it did move higher yesterday. Still no all-time high. It's struggling a little bit, I would say, but again, trust the trend. We have a higher high and a higher low and a new higher high. So we are in a bullish trend, but it is not convincing. But I think we will see it crawling higher. On the other hand, Ethereum is struggling, just trading sideways between 3,000 and 3,500. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day. Talk to you again later tomorrow.